say I'm a champion. I was born a champion. All right. Give yourself a round of applause. Some of you guys are having fun, and some of you are like, what kind of crazy cult is this? You're not into it yet. It's your first workshop. How many of you guys have been to a workshop before? Oh, good. All right, keep your hand up if you've been to 3, 4, 5 workshops. Very nice. How about 10? How about 20? How about 30? How about 40? 50? 60? And we got hands down. We got some people that have been to over 100 workshops. So obviously we've been doing this a while. Everybody give each other a round of applause for continuing to learn and grow. And that's what this is all about. We always have something for you guys to learn. Every single month we have a different workshop. Can you guys hear me all right, or is it too loud?
No, it's good.
It's good? Okay. So what you want to do is every time you come to a workshop, keep track of it. Make sure they validate that at the front, because it's kind of like one of those Subway free sandwich cards. You know, you get a certain number, they punch it out, and you get a free sandwich. Well, it works a little bit like that, but you know, you do 6 or more workshops, and if you're continuing on with maintenance chiropractic care, you get up to 10% off your program. So keep track of it. We want to incentivize you to stay healthy and keep learning and growing. And next month we have Heart Smart Nutrition. And so, you know, 1 out of 2 people die from heart disease, so no joke. I mean, just because we have different medications every single year coming out, it doesn't mean that we're really getting any closer to helping, you know, cure this disease, and more people are on more medications than ever. And really what I find is the vast majority of my patients are still taking medications that are published in peer-reviewed medical literature journals, which is shown to be non-indicated or contraindicated for some conditions. And there are many of you sitting here right now on some of those medications, and your doctors have given them to you, and you trust your doctors, and they're nice people, but the problem is if they're not reading their medical journals, it leaves you at serious risk. So I encourage you to come to this. Most people who leave this workshop, their jaws drop, and they're just like, I just don't understand. My doctor should have been here, you know. And so really one of those life-changing workshops. So especially if you're on blood pressure, you know, all different medications, you're really going to learn a lot, and it's going to really help you make good decisions. So it's next month. Let's jump right into what we're talking about here tonight. I don't want to waste any time. I want you guys to get your cup filled up. How many of you guys are ready to have your healthiest year ever? Yeah? Excellent. Some of you, you're already on track. You already started. And tonight, we're just going to give you a couple more gems. And I encourage you to take notes if you can. And you've got your handouts there. If you haven't had a handout, put your hand up if you don't have a handout, and we'll come around and get you one. But the sad reality is the standard American diet. And this is what's driving obesity. And obesity, as it relates to fat-burning fitness, is something that we need to talk about, because if you're not preventing obesity and diabetes, you're already pre-diabetic. And it's the people who don't have any symptoms that are greatest at risk. So this is a map of showing how our country is affected. If you look at all the yellow, these are states that have obesity in terms of their population percentage. Between 25 and 30% of their population is obese. But getting worse from there, 30 to 35% is the other half of the country that's represented. Can you imagine any given population, 35% of the population being obese, of adults? And then you've got 3 states here that are actually over 40% right now, if you want to know what they are: West Virginia, Arkansas, and Missouri. Over 40% of the population obese. So it really is insane. And we're really the only country that's doing this. Now, obviously with our fast food chains and stuff like that infiltrating other places like Japan, they're not too far behind us. And they're starting to develop a lot of the same degenerative diseases that we have. But this is our report card. How does that look? Not so good. When you break it down, 61% of American adults are overweight. More than a third, or almost 35 million U.S. adults are obese. But then we've got kids too. Over the last 20 years, ages 6 to 11, that population has doubled in the percentages of obesity. And of course, the inevitable is the diseases that it promotes. So you say, okay, well, what does my pants getting tighter, putting on a few pounds, have to do with diabetes or blood pressure or cholesterol or stroke or cancer? Well, the more belly fat or body fat you have, the more of that hormonal system that you're going to have that's driving inflammation. And inflammation drives all these degenerative diseases that people eventually become medicated for and die from early. And so that's what we're talking about. So you're here tonight to learn. I'm going to give you everything you need to actually start moving that in the right direction. So let me just talk to you about currently how these situations are treated. So, because again, you know, there's a couple of you guys here on some of these meds, and what you have to understand is that I'm not telling you to stop taking medications, but I do want you to know what the side effects are. And one of the most dangerous things that you could think is that it won't happen to me. Because once you're on a medication, you're completely out of control of what those side effects are and how they could possibly occur to you. Because they've done population studies, and this stuff is real, guys. So if you're on beta blocker drugs, or you know anybody on beta blocker drugs or diuretics, they raise insulin levels. So once you put on weight and your blood pressure goes up, your insulin levels are going to go up as a side effect from the blood pressure medication. And soon, not too soon after, if your blood sugar goes up, what are they going to put you on? Diabetes meds. So not to mention, it's interesting how when your insulin levels go up as a side effect of the blood pressure medication, what does it cause? Weight gain, premature aging, and what? Impotence. Nice, as a bonus. So it increases your risk of diabetes by up to 50% when you are on diuretics and blood pressure medications. So you become diabetic, all right? Now you're going back to the doctor. This is maybe the next year or the year after, and what have you got going on now? So you're diabetic, your blood sugar levels are out of control. Now what do they put you on? Put you on medication, yeah. So Wake Forest University did a study, and you know it's been well known for a long time how dangerous diabetes medications are. Sure, they've got metformin, which may be the safest and it's got the longest track record, but things like Januvia, I mean, there are these brand name drugs that have literally a strong link and a correlation to things like pancreatic cancer. I mean, I just did some research on this, and all you have to do is do a Google search, and you can find your brand name drug, and you find the highest correlation that it has, like with pancreatic cancer, thyroid cancer, urinary infections, gastrointestinal issues, kidney, gallbladder problems, if you're taking diabetes medications. These are things that your doctor probably won't talk to you about. Because if it's a brand name drug, what are they getting to keep you on that? They get a kickback, yeah. So the incentive is not to get you off those medications or even give you a generic brand. The incentive is to keep you on. Because, you know, it's just, that's the economics of it. And again, I'm not disparaging the doctors, it's just our healthcare system. The incentive is all wrong. And you have to do your own homework, you have to do your own research, and you really have to make your own decisions, because your doctors are good people. But what I find, and this is really discouraging to me as a wellness physician, because I've had countless more hours in trainings, hundreds of, if not thousands of more hours in nutrition, training, and research than any medical doctor that I know, is that when they talk to the lay people, they put you in a state of fear. And because of this image and this stigma of medical doctors going to school for so long, and that for years we've worshipped at the shrine and the altar of modern medicine, that must be the right answer. When in fact, if the more research you do, you study this stuff, they are wrong most of the time when it comes to diagnosis. And then on top of that, you take medications and you're rolling the dice again. So I know there are many of you here who are looking to move in the right direction. And that's why you're here, and I want to give you, you know, I really want to encourage you. I'm proud of you for being here, but I want to encourage you to keep an open mind and stop living in fear, okay? There's no reason to live in fear, okay? So once you learn, the more information that you get, the more at peace you are with the decisions that you make. And that's where this comes from. So this is all in medical journals. They found that once you go on diabetes medication, the side effects from the diabetes medication, you're 64% more likely to die from the side effects of diabetes meds than from the disease itself. So these are all medical studies, universities, they've done, this has been out in medical literature for a long time. Sleep apnea. When you start gaining weight, a 10% weight gain predicts a 32% increase in sleep apnea. This is one of the things that we see resolve so quickly when our patients lose weight, very, very quickly. It's one of the main things you see immediately. You start breathing better. Life gets easier. You have more energy, and it just doesn't stop. Okay, so when we look at this in reverse, basically if you lose 22 pounds, it reduces your heart attack risk by what? 77%. That's a pretty good ROI. 15% weight loss reduces your risk of developing diabetes by what? That's a pretty good ROI. Return on investment. Losing 10 pounds doubles your chances of normalizing your blood pressure. Exactly. So why would we not want to go for that? The fruits of our labor are inevitable. All we need is a strategy, and that's what I'm going to give you tonight. So, fat burning fitness. Let's get right into it. So we got two individuals here. What we're going to talk about tonight with the exercise part has a lot more to do than just burning calories. This is about hormones. The focus of our discussion tonight is going to be hormones and the effect that you're going to have those hormones make on your body post-workout, after workout. We're not so much concerned with what's happening while you're working out as the effect on the hormones after. So you look at these two individuals, and if you look at them, you see one much more muscular and lean and athletic and fit, and what do you see here? Not as healthy. Yeah, I mean, not good at all. If you, ladies, if you were a man, which body would you want to have? I know what the answer is for me. Okay, so we can clearly see which one is healthier. Now, why? Because we know with a certain type of exercise, it's going to promote a certain type of physiology. And that's what I want to break down for you here tonight. Because, in the past, we've typically learned, no pain, no gain. And, you have to get on the treadmill for an hour or get on a bike for an hour or go run a marathon or run every day, to keep your weight down. And the older you get, the harder it is. So you got to exercise more often and longer. And we got it all wrong. And all the new studies are showing that less is more. So the amount of time that you work out is less important than the intensity that you work out. If you can work out at a higher intensity for a shorter period of time, then you're going to create the hormonal effect that's going to get you lean muscle, high testosterone, high growth hormone, and keep your blood sugar levels to keep you in fat burning. And that's what turns you into a full-time fat burning machine. Raise your hand if you want to be a fat burning machine. That's why we're all here tonight. So let's break it down a little bit. The classic aerobic exercise, which is long duration, low intensity. Now, I studied under a mentor. I studied under this model. I trained for a Disney marathon. I wanted to do it. And this was back actually 13 years ago. So I hired this guy who was in the book of records for running the 1,000-mile race. He did the race in France, and he ran 11 days straight, 1,000 miles on foot. And he's in the book of records for that. He actually did a fundraiser. He ran on foot from San Diego to New York. So that's what you call an ultra marathoner. And there are people like that do, things like that. And that's all fine and well. And I wanted to just try a version of it once. But I haven't done it since. And I try to keep things in balance in my life as much as I can. And although I enjoyed it, and I did feel good while I was doing it, as time went on, it was harder and harder to keep my weight down. And I found out the reason why. When you break down some of the benefits, when you work out, like if you go for a brisk walk, or if you go for a light jog, or you go for a bike ride around the block, and you're going out for 30, 45 minutes, there are some benefits to that. While you're doing the exercise, it lowers your blood pressure, it's good for your circulation, it actually will lower your resting heart rate, it increases your good cholesterol. When you're sweating for long periods of time, that's how your body purges toxins. And then when you're done, you have that runner's high, or that cyclist high, because your body's permeated with endorphins, right? How many of you guys have ever felt that runner's high, or really good from a workout? It's good. It's really good. And so these are all benefits, and it also strengthens your immune system while you're doing it because of the oxygenation factor. For no other reason, because oxygen strengthens your immune system. Now, when you're done exercising, though, a whole different thing happens. So the benefits of that occur while you're exercising, and you're not really accessing so much the sugar. You're not really burning sugar. When you're doing low intensity, long duration, you're really burning fat. You're burning more fat while you're doing that exercise. But then what happens is there's a catabolic process, which means your body's breaking down, and because of the hormonal shift, you actually burn more sugar than fat while you're resting. That's not good, is it? No. So that's the effect of this, because after the exercise session, here's what happens. Metabolically, your body is breaking down muscle, cortisol goes up, and when cortisol goes up, that's the stress hormone, it takes insulin with it, and then you start storing fat. And then you're decreasing your testosterone, human growth hormone, and it weakens your immune function after the exercise. It leaves your immune system depleted. And if there's such a thing as overtraining because you're tanking your immune system while you're training in those heart rate zones. Is this kind of making sense to everybody? Say yes? Okay, good. So now let's go to the new type of training, which is the burst training or the fat burning fitness. This is what the science comes down to. You're going to go, it's really more about the intensity. Instead of working out for like 45 minutes or an hour, you only have to do a couple of minutes, but you need to do it more intensively within that shorter period of time. Now, when you're doing that, you're really not burning fat, you're burning sugar. But the hormonal effect that's caused by that high intensity output causes a surge in human growth hormone and testosterone. And that hormonal shift is going to cause your body to burn fat for the next 36 hours after. Turn to your neighbor and say, "Holy smokes! That's amazing!" So here are some of the benefits. It improves your blood sugar stability, promotes fat burning and muscle mass development, promotes bone density, increases testosterone, and actually it decreases your risk of early dementia and Alzheimer's disease. That's a good one. Primary hormonal response. Growth hormone, testosterone is elevated. And by the way, guys, that's the fountain of youth hormone. Growth hormone and testosterone. Because without that increase, without that high intensity, it's going down. And when that goes down, everything else goes down, metaphorically speaking.
But is that good for women?
Is that good? Yeah.
Higher testosterone?
No, everybody's got different levels of it, but you need to have a good balance. And remember, your body's amazingly intelligent. And it's healthy for everybody to do that type of exercise, and I'm going to tell you how often. But your body figures out what levels it needs to be at. Obviously, you don't want to have more testosterone than a man, but even women have a certain amount of testosterone. And when that balance is out of range, things come on like depression and this and that. So there's a lot of things. So I'm going to give you a good strategy, guys. It's not all or nothing. I'm going to give you a good strategy. I'm going to show you exactly what I do, what I think is a good, healthy balance. But I want you to see the benefits of exercising in this fashion. Primary hormonal release, you understand what we're trying to do is build lean muscle. And the more muscle you have, the more fat you're going to burn. Okay, I'll say that one more time. The more muscle you have, the more what? The more fat you're going to burn. I don't know if we need more chairs there, okay. Okay, so, on a side-to-side comparison, these are like the main hormones that are involved when you're doing burst training. When you're doing high intensity, short duration. This is the effect that gives you this type of physique. Lean muscle, fat burning. Glucagon is a hormone that keeps your blood sugar stable. Cortisol is your stress hormone. You want that low because otherwise your body's going to store fat. Human growth hormone is going to make muscle mass. Insulin, obviously you don't want high insulin levels because that's what causes you to store fat. You want to keep insulin low, right? Leptin, low. Leptin is a fat burning hormone, low. So this is all the primarily correct hormonal responses that we want by doing this type of exercise. This type of athlete creates that by doing that. But if you look at this, it's the complete opposite. Glucagon goes in the opposite direction, so your sugar is out of control. Cortisol goes high, which means you're going into fat burning or fat storing. Growth hormone low, insulin high, not good, leptin high. So you can see the hormonal effect, and you see why it leaves a person like this depleted with very little muscle mass and fighting to be in fat burning and always feeling fatigued. I remember feeling that. I do remember training. I remember feeling good, and I could run from here to Shanghai. I could run till the cows come home. I ran in that marathon for 5 hours straight, and I felt really good while I was doing it. And then sometimes I go out for a run on Saturday. I go run for an hour and a half, 2 hours, training for the marathon. Guess what I did the rest of the day? Yeah, got all I wanted to do is, meanwhile, my kids want to play with me. They want to do this and that, and I'm good for nothing but the couch. So, again, you got to think balance here, and there's a lot more to it, and you can do this economically because the number one reason why people don't exercise is what? Time. The exercise I'm going to show you how to do, the routine, shouldn't take you more than 12 minutes a day. So the excuses are gone. There's no more excuses. Fat expenditure, studies show that there's a greater increase of fat expenditure or fat burning. What's that word right there? After high intensity exercise due to the growth hormone release. So you're not so much primarily concerned with what's happening while you exercise, it's what's happening after. There's a positive relationship between carbohydrate expenditure, okay? So burning sugar during exercise and burning fat after. So when you're doing that low intensity, long duration, remember what I said, you're not burning sugar, you're burning what? Fat, okay? But then after you're burning sugar. With the burst training, you are burning sugar. When there's high intensity, it's like a fight or flight thing. It's like no different than a lion or an elephant chasing you. Your body knows what to do. Everything's released for your body, for your muscles to contract and, you know, go all out. So you're gonna access those sugar stores, but then the result is after, which is recovery, which is building muscle mass and the primary hormonal responses that we've been talking about. So are you guys getting all this?
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you burst train? This is basically it in a nutshell. Exercise at 90 to 100% of your maximum effort for how long? 20 to 30 seconds. Honestly, I think 20 seconds is fine for most people. If you're very athletic, you could probably do it for a little bit longer. And it causes your body to burn fat for the next how long? That's a pretty good bargain. Only 3 to 4 sets of 20 to 30 second bursts. How often?
3 times.
3 times a week. That's it. And then more is not better. You don't want to do it every day. You want to give your body some time to rest in between. All right. So now comes the fun part. Now comes the fun part. Demonstration. Okay. So, it doesn't matter what you do. You can do push-ups. You can do sit-ups. You can run stairs. You can run in place. If you can't, if you have bad hips, knees, back, whatever, you could sit in a chair and just have your arms go up and down. Just do some sort of vigorous exercise at 90 to 100% of your maximum effort. Okay? So, I want to show you what it looks like because it's very simple. And what I'm going to have everybody do is we're going to stand up. Now, here's the deal. If you have some sort of health problem that precludes you from doing this, that's okay. You just stand up and make believe you're participating in part of the group. You can do your arms up and down. I still want everybody participating. If you want to feel what this feels like, then you can just as simple as you can just run in place if you want to do that. If you can't run in place, do your arms up and down like this. If you can run in place and do your arms up and down, that's even better. But the key is to get your heart rate what? Up. Okay, so everybody up. And we're going to do 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. I have a stopwatch. So like I said, just do the best you can. All right? All right, ready, set, go. That's good, that's 5 seconds. That's 10 seconds. Halfway there. Good, good. 5 more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest. Okay. So that's good. You guys did great. All right, so that's 20 seconds. So now you're going to rest 20 seconds and do it again. Okay. How many of you guys are feeling it? Woo! That's good. All right, if you're feeling dizzy or faint, stop. If you're ready to do another set, go. Ready? Okay. Fast as you can, hard as you can. Do the best you can. This right here is going to determine how good your year is going to be. Yeah. All right. Counts time, stop. Okay, we're going to rest 20 seconds. You guys are doing great. Thank you for playing full out. You guys are doing some good stuff. There's no, well, I can't see anything right now. No. Okay? Yeah, just go ahead and... You okay? You want to have a seat? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Go ahead, 10 more seconds. Doing good. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. I think, how many of you guys are breaking a sweat? There it is. Okay. That's it. That was a minute. Hello, that was a minute. That's it.
Oh my God.
Okay, so now at this period of time right here, if you had a stopwatch, you'd be letting 2 minutes go by. Let your heart rate come down, and if you're just starting, if you don't exercise regularly, just do just do what we just did, and that's it. But after you do it, let's say for a week, you could probably the following week add another set, which would be after the 2 minutes, 20 on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off. And then let another week go by, do 3 of those, and then add one more. So you never really need to do more than 3 sets, 3 to 4 sets at the most, and that takes you a maximum of 12 minutes. Okay, so and again, you can do a full body workout using this strategy. If you did it, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you could do chest. You could bring your hands closer together. It'll work your arms. You could do sit-ups. You could do push-ups. You can do abs. Yes.
So each day you can choose a different exercise to do.
Yeah.
One day you can do the jogging, another day you can do jump rope.
Yeah, exactly. The most important thing is the intensity, and that you just time it for 20 seconds, and that you're doing it as hard as you can for 20 seconds. You're really supposed to be getting your heart rate up to 90 to 100%. Yeah. So that's the great thing about it. You can do it anywhere. Even if you travel, you get in a stairwell, you can do that. Yeah.
Could you alternate what you want to do? Let's say you run fast for the minute.
Yep.
Then let's say you do abs and.
Sure. You can do anything. Remember, the key is the intensity, because then you're going to get the hormonal effect. The result is the hormonal effect. How you do it, what method you use to do it, doesn't matter. Whatever generates that heart rate up to 90 to 100%. Yes?
I just wanted to, like the weights, can we do it the same way?
Yeah, you can.
Low weight with
Yeah.
higher intensity?
Exactly. High reps. Yep. Yeah. Shoulders. Anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. One more question.
When you do refer to the 90 to 100% maximum,
Mhm.
is that the 220 minus your age?
Yes, that's a great question. So if you don't have a heart rate monitor that kind of gives you an immediate readout, then it's 220 minus your age. That's your maximum heart rate. 220 minus your age. That's your maximum heart rate. Yes. Yeah. Good to see you. Yes, you can modify it. Again, you don't obviously you don't want to be bouncing up and down too much, too vigorously, but you still can get your heart rate up. And any exercise that you feel best suited, any exercise. And I could talk to you more about that. But this is just kind of to give you an idea. 3 days a week. Now the question is, what do you do the other 3 days a week? Right? Okay. So, oh, by the way, this was a funny clip I found. So the biggest excuse people don't do exercise is what? Not enough what? Time. So what fits your busy schedule better? Exercising 4 minutes a day or being dead 24 hours a day? So you always want to exercise, if possible, first thing in the morning, because you're more likely to stay on schedule with that. If you're really busy, like everybody in this room, and you wait to do it at the end of the day, what's the chances it's going to happen? Little to none. And more importantly, the reason why you want to do this in the morning is because you'll generate the greatest hormonal benefit. On an empty stomach, I mean, first of all, testosterone and growth hormone are at the highest levels in the morning. And that's why in the Nutrimos program we don't have you eat, because those hormones are peaking and your insulin levels are stable and you're in high fat burning in the morning already. And that's why, if you have a cup of coffee in the morning and you don't have breakfast and you go work out, it helps to keep the caffeine helps to keep your blood sugar stable and is also thermogenic and keeps you in fat burning. So whether you have caffeine in your tea or your coffee, studies have shown the results from your exercise are better with that caffeine. Now I'm not saying go get wigged out of your mind on caffeine, but I'm just saying if you do enjoy it, if you like it, this is how you do it. As a matter of fact, that's how I do it. But I wouldn't recommend, as some of you may have heard that I put butter in my coffee or coconut oil in my coffee. I do not do that in the morning before I work out, because I don't want my body tapping into that as a source of fuel. I want my body tapping into the adipose tissue, into the abnormal fat. And I don't want anything in my system. I want a clean system working to burn fat. And that's what stimulates your metabolism. It's anabolic, which means it's muscle building, and you get the best outcome. So, again, biggest excuse why people can't do it in the morning is because of what? It's because of time. How long did we figure you need to carve out of your schedule now, realistically? 12 minutes, okay. So again, I know what's going through your mind. The average person says, so I'm gonna lose 12 minutes of sleep. I'm really grouchy. Hey, come on, like honestly, you know that if you exercise, first of all, you're gonna have more energy. Just because you got less sleep, you're not gonna feel groggy. You're exercising, you're oxygenating, you're gonna have more energy, and you're gonna sleep better. It's not how long you sleep, it's the quality of your sleep. And if you're not exercising, your quality of sleep is not as good as if you are. So, have we run out of excuses yet? Yes or yes? Okay. So on the alternate days in between your burst training, this is what I do. I'll go for a brisk walk. I love brisk walking. So the brisk walking is really a source of peace for me and stress management. And then I get my aerobic activity in there, and I'll just go for 20 minutes. And I'll do a brisk walk, swinging my arms till I can get my heart rate up to about 50–60%. And I'm not worried about the hormonal response because I'm really getting what I want on Monday and Wednesday and Friday. But I like to do a little something every day to keep my mind fresh, to keep my my mood stable, to keep my blood sugar stable, to keep my metabolism stable. Does that kind of make sense? So I am a big proponent of exercising every day, and let me tell you why. Because if you do that every day and it becomes a habit, what's the likelihood for you to stop doing it if that's what you do all the time? How many of you guys forget to brush your teeth in the morning? No, none of us do. If my kids were here, they'd be like, yeah, well, no, all the time. But we're adults. We're responsible for the healthy habits. You're supposed to be doing stuff like that. So if you exercise every day, it becomes a habit. And then you don't have to think about it. And I'll tell you, the days, if I'm not gonna work out, I don't feel as whole and complete and as good as I do when I am working out. So it's good to take a rest every once in a while, but I'm a person of routine. And I firmly believe that you're a creature of habit, right? And you're a creature of either bad habits or good habits. And what happens when you're a creature of all these good habits? Aren't you more successful in life at what you do at everything? Why would we not just want to be creatures of good habits? So a good habit is something that you do every day. And if you do it every day and it's a habit, you don't have to think about it and it's not hard. So why not just do it every day? Make it part of your routine. Every day I do the same thing. Yeah.
So when you're doing the burst training,
yeah,
what target heart rate are you going for? 75–80%?
Actually, the research shows best results 90–100%. Now, if you can't peg that,
I've been there. I blacked out.
Yeah, no, we don't want you to black out. No. So that's a good question, guys. So listen, if you've got, if you have a medical condition, that's probably not indicated. But you do want to push yourself, and as you build your fitness, then eventually you can get up there. But when you first start out with this, no. But I can work with each of you guys one-on-one and help guide you through that. But that would be the target. So like just starting out, probably no. But it takes a lot to get your heart rate up there. Yeah, so, but some of you who are athletic, you'll get it up there right there, just like that. It takes a long time for me to build up to that also. But that's the target. So on the alternate days, you can brisk walk, you do a bike ride, swim. Again, you're not knocking yourself out. You're enjoying yourself, and you don't have to do it for a very long period of time either. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. And this is really closer to 50–60% your maximum heart rate. Does that make sense? Okay, so as I was saying before, Meredith, that gives us a good balance of hormonal response and a good balance of keeping things, shaking it up. You don't want it to become monotonous. You don't want to do the same thing every day. I like doing different types of fitness activities every day. Keeps it interesting, shakes it up, I don't lose interest in it. I've been working out since I'm 14 years old. I always change up my routines. And the more you change up your routine, the more you confuse your body, and the more you confuse your body, the less likely you are to plateau, and you just keep on getting linear results. It just keeps improving. So, okay, so let's take a mental break here. If I could grab my dynamic staff, come on up. We want to recognize a couple of our patients here for putting their best foot forward. We have some awards that we like to give out and just recognize people for doing really well with their care. One of the things that, when you start care in our office, the thing that we love to see when a person makes a commitment to care is consistency. And life is not easy, we know that. So we really like to celebrate when people are really consistent and just showing an excellent execution with, with the care plan that we recommend. And if you're one of those people and we haven't called your name, we will. Feel free to bring it to our attention. But we got just a couple here, and so these are the special folks tonight. When I call your name, please stand up. This is for perfect adjustment attendance, never missing an adjustment, and just staying on track. And we really appreciate that. Jay Farini. All right, I want you to come stand up, Jay. We're going to come and crown you right now. And Meredith Schuster. Meredith, you can stand up. And Brad Sorensen. Where are you, Brad? I saw you out there somewhere. There you go. Okay. So they're getting a nice little medal. Yeah, so keep up the good work, guys.
Another piece of jewelry.
And then this right here is, I like when Deborah does that, the Vanna White. She does that so well, doesn't she? The University Core 4 degree, and this is presented to Sharon Marshall for 6 or more workshops. Everybody give Sharon Marshall a big hand. Excellent, good job. All right, so we have a ritual that we always do at our workshops because I know the mind can only absorb what the seat can endure. So we're going to have everybody stand up, turn to the person on your right, put your hands on their shoulders and wake them up. Do a little massage, squeeze, just get all that stress out. Good. Excellent. Love your neighbor. Do a little karate chop. Nice. All right, turn around. Love your other neighbor.
You can do it. I don't know. You like your partner.
Nice. Get that stress out. All right, little karate chop. Karate chiropractic. Good. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, Carrington, can you help me? Don't do it. Can you help me? All right, just don't hurt anyone. Everybody, heads up. All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When you're talking about your heart rate, how
Yes.
do you know when you're doing this exercise what your heart rate is?
The easiest way is to have a heart rate monitor. You can get them for as little as $30. You go over to Sports Authority, and you put the monitor right here, and then the watch is on your wrist, and you can get a readout real time.
Your own watch is on your wrist. No.
Yeah. It's a set. It comes with this. So there's a strap here, and it wirelessly transmits to the watch that you wear, and it reads out your heart rate. Yes.
And are the exercises still beneficial in the way you speak if your heart rate is not at the optimal level?
It is, but the maximum beneficial results are in maximum intensity. So that's why they say 90 to 100%, so that you're giving it your all.
Right.
And everybody's all is a little bit different based on your physical stature and whatnot, but that's the idea, that's the target. And realistically, you just kind of want to build yourself up. Now, if you're doing it consistently, you're gonna adapt to it, and your heart's gonna become more fit, and you're gonna get up there a lot faster too. So these are all good questions. Okay, so let's talk about nutrition and how it applies to fat burning. And so this concept I want to share with you guys if you have not heard or been exposed to it, but I have a feeling that most everybody here already knows the alkaline acid pH balance that we're supposed to have. Are you guys all kind of familiar with that? Okay, this is really important because if your body's acidic, it wants to hold on to fat as a protective mechanism. Acid is very destructive. I mean, everything in life has a pH balance. You look at a pool. Why is the pool green? Because what's out of balance? Yeah, the pH is out of balance. You basically put some pool shock in there and get the pH right, and all the algae goes away. And the same thing happens in your body. Your body becomes acidic, kind of like a dirty pool like that, when you put garbage food inside of you. And when you eat bad things, the pH becomes acidic, and it becomes a fertile breeding ground for bacteria, viruses, yeast, mold, fungus, cancer, disease in general. And they've done, there was Nobel Peace Prizes, awarded for the research done on this. So this has been around for a really long time, actually centuries. And there is merit to it. So I always teach my patients how to alkalize, and it's going to go hand in hand with everything that I've taught you up to this point. And so it's really important to obviously have more of this, not just to lose weight and feel great, but to keep your internal terrain in balance. So our internal terrain would be, your blood pH, and this is obviously something that you can't see, but you have to honor it because that's really the place that you live. And so you have bacteria and viruses that are living in harmony with your body right now. How many of you guys know that? Yeah. Streptococcus, when you get a strep throat or pneumonia, you got all those same bacteria and viruses are in you right now. But they live in harmony, and they actually help your body by killing off other things. But when your body becomes weak, the immune system weakens, then it's almost like the garbage that you put outside your door. It's you become a host as an opportunistic vector for the bacteria and the viruses to actually start to feed on you. And so this is one of the things that causes that. We have a lifetime of eating, all of this commercial man-made food like milk, soda, coffee, alcohol, processed foods, and all of this stuff is highly, highly acidic. So the more of that we have in our diet and lifestyle, the more acidic our body's going to be. And how many of you guys have ever seen what acid can do to a marble floor? You ever see it'll just eat right through it. It's been said that, I remember hearing the Florida Highway Patrol using cans of Coca-Cola to wash the blood off the asphalt. And acid is very, very powerful, and it can burn through almost anything. And so when that's inside of your body, when that condition exists, it actually is able to destroy the integrity of the cells. And when you look at the cells under a microscope, they're very delicate because the membrane of a cell is made up of fat. And so it doesn't take much to destroy the membrane of those cells. And when you destroy the membrane of the cells, what happens is they don't function properly. They don't communicate with the brain properly. And your body starts holding on to fat to heal them and repair them. So in a nutshell, basically, if your body's highly acidic, it's going to hold on to fat. It's not going to release or burn the fat. Does that make sense? Okay, so I said all that to say that, but that's the physiology behind it. So we want to do less of this and more of this. The Fiji and the Evian, some of that water, slightly alkaline. The perfect body pH should be slightly above 7, slightly alkaline, 7.365. 7.8, generally right around 7, 8 is going to be most of your green vegetables, your alkaline vegetables like celery, broccoli, cucumbers, kale, peppers, avocados, spinach, highly, highly alkaline. That's why it's good to have a diet that's, mostly greens and good fats. That should be the foundation of your diet.
What are onions?
Onions are alkaline as well. Yeah, yes.
What if your body is more than 7.365? Is that
Well,
negative impact?
it's not good to be too far on either side of the scale.
Okay.
It's best to be closest to that, but it's very, very rare that somebody is very, very alkaline. It's very unusual, very rare. There's probably some sort of metabolic disorder with that. But just understand, remember what I said as far as your body letting go of fat, that's one thing. But if you're trying to reduce, get off medications, heal up of heart disease, reverse diabetes and things like that, you gotta remember that this all has to do with the nature of, stopping giving those diseases the opportunity to manifest and making your body an inhospitable environment for those diseases to flourish. You can starve those diseases out of the body. When people don't want chemotherapy and radiation, they go to, Mexico and some of these other places where they do all these other non-conventional treatments under the premise and the foundation of an alkaline diet and lifestyle. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've had several colleagues and friends. I could give you a half a dozen people that I know were stage 4 cancer, and they went to one of these treatment centers. And I've got information on it. If you know anybody who has cancer and they want to do chemo and they don't want the chemo, this stuff works. I've seen all of these people come back completely 100% clear of cancer, and even confirmed by their medical doctors when they come back to the United States. So if anybody ever needs information, I've got the brochures. The facility is in Mexico, and it works. And I'm telling you that this is one of the foundational principles that they use is to alkalize the body. It's one of the principles. So it's not just for fat burning, guys. It's for longevity. And this is so important what we're talking about here. So I gave everybody.
Right in America here too.
What's that?
They have some of the places right there.
So share that with me because I don't. I know in Arizona they have a place.
They have places,
Yeah.
Washington.
Washington. So there are a handful here and there. So the House of Health handout is what you've got so that you can take this home and learn a little bit more about how to eat a more alkalizing diet and lifestyle, not just for fat burning, but for overall health. The foundation. Remember the food pyramid in elementary school, right? The bottom of the food pyramid, the 60% of your diet they said should be what? Starches, rice, pasta, potato, bread, carbohydrates, right? Guess what? I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had any of that stuff in years, and I'm still standing here. Last time I checked. So your body does just fine without refined carbohydrates. In fact, you get all the sugar and carbs you need from fruits and vegetables. Yes or yes? Yes. Yeah. And so you can do this, and remember, most of the energy that your brain and your body does best with doesn't come from carbs; it comes from fat. So the majority of your diet, and guys, whoever's on the Nutrimos program right now, you take this and put it in the parking lot for when you're done with the reset phase. All right, don't start eating fats if you're in the Nutrimos program now. I forgot about that. So all this stuff, if you're in Nutrimos, after reset, you can start plugging this stuff in. After reset.
You mean during reset?
After the reset, yeah. So just we'll work that in for you. But take all this, and you got your greens. This is what you want most of your diet to be, and then you have your low sugar fruits. What are low sugar fruits? Bananas, pineapples. No. Can you have them every once in a while? Sure. Yeah, but these are low sugar fruits. Lemons, limes. Put that in your water. Put it on your salads. Put it on your vegetables. Grapefruits, tomatoes. You got your vegetables, nuts, seeds, and then you have your protein sources. So please take that home, look through it, put it on your refrigerator, you get some ideas, and that'll be a catalyst for your body to start unloading unwanted fat. Some other foods that help to incinerate fat. We know avocados, walnuts, almonds. What type of nuts are the best nuts to get? Dry roasted, salted? No, raw, organic, yes. Just be careful with that. Eggs. This is like literally nature's most perfect food. For those of you who are brainwashed like I was that they're too high in cholesterol, they're very unhealthy, it'll make your cholesterol, biggest hoax and lie ever perpetuated on man. Yes. Okay, so if you don't know this right now, the food that you eat, the cholesterol in the food that you eat has no bearing on your blood cholesterol at all. Zero. Okay, so if you eat bacon and you eat eggs and you eat a big steak, a T-bone, just because it's high in cholesterol, that does not drive your blood cholesterol. Okay, so I have all the research on that. Come to the workshop next month. You'll see it for yourself. So enjoy your eggs, fat-burning coffee, olives, coconut oil. I had this in my coffee this afternoon. Coconut, lots of butter. But you can put the butter in your, you can put it in your coffee. You can put it on your vegetables, wherever you can get that butter in. Listen. So guys, this is especially when you're in the reset phase. For some of you guys with the Nutrimos, this is where people have the hardest trouble hitting 2,000, 2,500 calories a day. You're not getting the fats in there, and you have to have fat in your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The fat calories are double the amount of calories per serving that you're going to get from proteins and carbohydrates. It's double the amount of calories that you're going to get, and it's the only thing that's going to keep your body burning fat. It's like when the fire's dying out in the fireplace, you throw another log on. That's what these fats are. They're thermogenic. Yes, Sarah?
You don't use a coconut milk, isn't that just...
I haven't got to that yet, but it's right around the corner. Olive oil, again, fat burning. You want to put that on all your salads. Instead of your creamy salad dressing, always get extra virgin olive oil and sliced lemons. That's very, very alkaline and fat burning. You got green tea, that's thermogenic also. And so let me give you another trick, hydration. Everybody in here could and should be carrying around with them a bottle of water, a liter bottle of water. It's one of the simplest habits you can develop that will keep your body so willing, ready, and able to unload fat. And the way that you know if you're well hydrated or not, if you're not getting a body composition analysis, is by looking at your urine. If your urine's yellow, you're dehydrated. If your urine's clear and you're going to the bathroom frequently, you're well hydrated. Chances are you're pretty well hydrated. And the other thing that you're going to find is when you're well hydrated, this is stomach's flat, you fit into your clothes better, your eyes are brighter, your skin is clearer, your body's always detoxing, your kidneys are kicking. So strongly recommended. Your body will unload unwanted fat very, very readily, much more readily. And you want to get yourself an alkaline source, like we said. So ultimately, your goal is half your body weight in fluid ounces, if you can do that. Half your body weight in fluid ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, half of that would be 100 fluid ounces, roughly 3 liters. So you can do the math on that. All right, so here's where I was going. Yes?
Go back to the previous one. Number 2, most important nutrient. What is that, water?
Yeah, water. Most important nutrient upon waking. Yes. Okay, so somebody asked me about the coconut milk. Here's where the coconut milk comes into play for me personally. Of course, you can have coconut milk anytime during the day, but it's best served in the smoothies. This is the breakfast of champions. This will make your life super easy, and you will save a lot of money not having to buy cereal and oatmeal and danishes and all the other stuff that doesn't belong in your body. Super simple. When I'm done working out in the morning, I come in, take a glass, fill it up with a little bit of water. I take out my shake, and I mix the rest of the coconut milk in. So I get about a 12-ounce glass, and I'll take 2 scoops of either the Mediclear or the Complete Shake. It's got about 24 grams of protein in it, no sugar, and it's got a complete spectrum of all the multivitamins that you need. And so I've got my good fat in there. I've got my protein to help build lean muscle and recover after my workout. And then I'll have a big bowl of berries right here. So my berries are strawberries or raspberries, blueberries. I'll usually have a mix of like 2 types of berries, and then usually a tablespoon or 2 of almond butter also. My fruit and my almond butter goes on a plate. I slug my drink, and I get into the shower, and I'm grabbing my berries and my almond butter while I'm getting ready. Now, that's one way to do it. You don't have to do it that way. But when you're talking about a smoothie, it all goes in the blender, and then you just enjoy it right there on the spot. And the kids love it. My kids are having smoothies all the time, especially if they're going out to a soccer game. We don't want to give them dinner and then go play soccer. They'll, I don't have to get graphic, but we've seen that happen, and it's just the safest thing is smoothie. Now, when you do a smoothie in the morning, another thing that occurs is really important to keep your energy stable, because after you have a high carbohydrate breakfast, insulin levels go where? Through the roof. And then what goes up has to come down. And that's when mid-morning you're grabbing for the next cup of coffee, which is completely unnecessary if you keep your insulin levels stable. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you don't have refined carbohydrates. That's why the berries are so important. And the good fat. That good fat, whether it's in the form of coconut milk or butter or extra virgin olive oil, slows the digestive process down and allows you to help protect those insulin levels and keep them stable. Does that make sense? That's why you have to have fat with every meal, is to keep those blood sugar levels stable. Yeah?
Can you put the berries in with the smoothie?
Of course, absolutely. Yes. Yep. So you can have a fruit smoothie for the morning. And then also, you can do the same thing in the afternoon. You can have a green smoothie in the morning if you want. A lot of people put kale and and avocados, spinach. Yeah. Mary, you make the best green smoothies. I've tasted those; they're amazing. And just the coconut milk mixed with all that, it's just unbelievable. You really get hooked on it. Ken, one last question. Yeah.
What about dried greens that you buy in the health store?
Anything dried, they usually use chemicals to do that. So the problem with that is they're usually hormonal and neurotransmitter disruptors, and that slows your metabolism down and throws the hormones out of balance and everything that we're trying to fix. So that's why I wouldn't recommend that. And so if it's okay with everybody, what I'd like to do is just finish up the slides that I got, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end, just so we can get out of here on time. I do want to answer everyone's questions. I'm not blowing you off, but what I'm saying is I want to make sure that we get finished on time here. So this is something that I would definitely recommend. Most of my patients, if not all of them, do smoothies for the morning, and It's simple, it's easy, and it's the best thing, and it's the most economical thing to do. Relora Plus is another fat-burning supplement that you can take, and basically one of the things that throws your hormones up and causes you to go into fat storing mode is cortisol. This helps control cortisol levels and DHEA, and it helps to kind of curb the stressful eating habits that you have. So this is great for fat burning. This is really good for fat burning. In particular, green tea phytosome. Green tea is known to be thermogenic, but this doesn't have any caffeine in it. And as with every Thorne resource that you would ever take, it's not made with any binders or fillers like magnesium stearate. So you get the maximum bioavailability or absorbability. Anybody can take any supplements. You could get it at GNC. But the problem is that they're all made with the fillers. And when you have those binders and fillers, your body cannot absorb it. So that's why I flew out to the research facility, and that's why this is the only stuff that I take, because you actually get to use that which you're taking. So tonight, if you are going to get any of the supplements at the workshops, this is the only place where we discount. And so just to, encourage you guys and, utilize everything that we're talking about tonight, 20% off of all the Thorne resources with whatever we've got here. I know we've only got a handful of everything, so it's 20% off of anything that you want to use here. All right, and the other thing is you can save money too. Always remember that people read reviews. How many of you guys read reviews? I do all the time. If you believe that you learned something important tonight, raise your hand. Valuable? Yeah. Do you think there's other people in the community that could benefit from it? Yeah. So, I mean, if you did something good for the community to pay it forward and you put out a 5-star review as far as your experience here, we would love to have you do that and to help us help others. And if you do that, we give you a 25% off gift certificate. So I think you have that in your handout as far as how to post that review on Rate MDs. Okay. And I think this is appropriate to show you the difference between general supplementation, which is good, which is beneficial, but for those of you guys who don't know about the technology that's available to literally pinpoint what your body is out of balance with and why it's not in fat burning, there is technology that exists to allow your body to tell us exactly where the imbalances are. And that's the Nutrimos program that we use. Your hand goes on the scanner, the computer scans you for over 2,800 different factors that have to do with fat metabolism, fat burning, and so on and so forth. So it tells us exactly what the problems are. And then from there, we're able to design, customize, and personalize the formulas, supplements, and minerals that your body personally needs. Because everybody's biochemistry is different. Yes or yes? Yeah. So, I can recommend supplements that are in general good for you, but there's nothing more predictable in terms of the outcome than something that literally was designed for your body by your body. And that's the technology that's available today. When your hand is on the scanner, the computer reads exactly what your body is out of balance with and designs these nutritional supplemental formulas. So just want to show this literally for 10 seconds here. Nice and quick.
My name is Tim Kennedy. In the first 40 days of this program, I lost 35 pounds. I wanted to be. I got off my blood pressure medicine, I got off my cholesterol medicine, and I got off my heartburn medicine, and I feel wonderful. Thank you.
That's it. It's like I always say it's like kind of like baking a cake. It's a very specialized regimen. It's very quick. It's 40 days. Ladies lose between 27 and 32 pounds. Guys go between 35 and 45 pounds. So I know many of you have already gone through. If there's some of you that are interested, very simple. Go to 954thin.com, register for a consultation, and what we do is the body composition analysis. We find out where your metabolic age is, your body fat, and all the different components of what's in balance, out of balance, and design a program for you. If you go here, there's a little video. It'll give you more online. If you're interested in that, you can follow up with that. So the question is, who needs their spine check? And I want to tell you a story, by the way. I went to chiropractic school for no other reason than, as God would have it, I had a car accident. I was telling Glenn the other day. I was at University of Florida. I was driving through an intersection, and guy blew a red light, and I slammed him. I had a head-on collision. So I didn't feel like I was injured, and so I just went to the gym and I just worked out, and I was lifting a lot of heavy weight, and my back just went out, and I couldn't walk. Literally, I had to get carried out of the gym. And then I went to the chiropractor, and he had me walking like in 30 minutes. I was walking out of his office. And at that time, 2 years into University of Florida, I'll give you one guess what my major was. Basket weaving. Weightlifting. I didn't know what I was going to do. And the chiropractor handed me a VHS, a video cassette. And he said, if you haven't ever thought of it, you may want to consider it. So the rest is history. And what I learned was that, chiropractors actually are real doctors. So I remember calling my parents on the phone and saying, hey, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. They're like, what is it? I said, I want to be a chiropractor. You want to be a what? I want to be a chiropractor. All right. My mom hung up on me because her whole side of the family are all medical doctors. They're Harvard graduates, like every medical school you could think, like every single one of my second and third cousins, they're all medical doctors. So that's all they ever wanted me to do. My dad was like, listen, at least he's doing something. Just go, do it, So I went up to chiropractic school, and I really I busted my hump. I went from like C's and D's in University of Florida floundering to like Dean's List. And I was so enamored with the neurology. I'm like, man, I thought chiropractors just cracked backs. But what I learned was that it's not about the back, it's about your neurology. And when I learned that I deal with a system that runs and regulates everything else, and that it doesn't matter what symptom or ache or pain or disease a person comes in with, they're better off with a healthier nervous system, I realized that I could probably help a lot of people with this. And so when I was going to adjusting clubs, and I really wanted to learn as much as possible, as quickly as possible. So I think I was in first quarter. I was literally in the school for just a couple of months. And I was going to clubs, learning how to adjust and getting a good feel for techniques and moving bones and stuff like that. And that's how you learn. You just got to practice. So I was, like all the students, practice on each other. And I was in school that one particular quarter, and I had just learned what to do with somebody who has headaches, which I thought was pretty cool because my dad had headaches as long as I could remember. So I came home, and I was on a Christmas break after that quarter, and I walked through the front door, and my dad is sitting at the kitchen table. He doesn't even look up to say hello to me. I haven't seen him in months. And he's just sitting there doing this. What's he got? Got another headache. So I gave my mom a hug and a kiss, and I just walked over to my dad. I put my hands on his shoulders. I started rubbing him. And then I started moving up his neck, starting to palpate and try to feel what's in alignment, out of alignment. And I got this to the top one in his neck, and I feel this thing sticking way off, pushing his skull up, and I'm like, something's not right there. I don't know what it is, but it's not right. I think I'm gonna start jamming on that thing. I'm gonna go to town. I'm gonna do something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do it. So I set him up in this thing that they just taught me like the last week, and I've been practicing on my friends. And I didn't tell him what I was gonna do, and I went, whack! And he's like, oh, he jumped out of his chair. He's like, holy smokes, what was that? I said, I think that was an adjustment. I'm not sure, but it sounded like it. Because it sounded like a gunshot went off. I mean, it was like a loud crack,
Good.
So he was laughing. I mean, we were in an uproar. It was like, I was practicing on him, But 3 minutes later, he's like, I don't have a headache anymore. And he's like, what was that? He's like, I said, I felt something out of alignment in your neck, and I just moved it back in place. I said, so now your body's gonna start healing itself. So I went back to school, and 8 months later I get a call. He's like, when's the next time you're coming home? I said, why? He's like, I haven't had a headache since the last time you adjusted me, and I don't want to wait for another one. So when's the next time you're coming home so you can practice on me some more? So as it turned out, I came home and I brought my dad and I got him x-rays, and sure enough, that top bone in his neck was way out of position. And we call that a subluxation. And this, you know how it happened with my dad? What could cause a bone to get racked out of place like that? What do you think? Sleeping wrong, car accidents, slips, falls, trips, falling down the stairs, sports injuries, the birth process, getting yanked out of the birth canal. It happens to kids. Guess what happened with my dad? We were able to have a conversation about this and pinpoint it to the day when this happened. When he was a kid, he was in summer camp, and he dove into a lake. And at the bottom of the lake, there was this cast iron tub, and nobody knew it was there. It was down under this murky water, and nobody could see it. So he went down the slide head first, and his head met the cast iron tub, cracked his skull open, left him bleeding, unconscious there. They took him to the hospital. He woke up 2 weeks later. And guess when his headache started? Then, yeah. And like we were talking about, he's like, that must have been it. I said, well, if that didn't cause it, it didn't help it. And by the looks of your x-rays, with the amount of degeneration you have to the bones and the discs, that's pretty consistent with an injury that would have happened all those decades ago. And I've seen this over and over with being in practice for 22 years and seeing over 20,000 patients. I can tell you one thing for sure. When you have these things happen to you, whether they be traumatic or just sitting at a computer or sleeping the wrong way, you don't feel your spine shifting out of the place most of the time because you don't feel the spinal cord, you don't feel the nerves. Most of that's not pain sensitive. But the problem is that when you start robbing your body of nerve supply, when you start robbing those organs of normal nerve supply, your body starts shutting down. You start developing health problems. And just like anything else, whether it's a cavity or cancer, you don't feel it in that developmental process. You only feel it when? After, when it's too late. How many years should my dad have waited to have that thing fixed in his neck? Should have been like that. But nobody told him to go get his spine checked. He lived on aspirin, Tylenol. And what does that stuff do to your kidneys? Destroys him. And guess what he has? He's got kidney stones still. He's got permanent damage to his kidneys from all the years that he took those drugs. Because nobody found the cause, the source, and the root. Now, I'm not saying this is the cure-all, the panacea for everything, but I will tell you this. There's not a person that I've ever met who's come in here that I checked their spine who's ever had a perfect spine. Sorry. And it's not old age either. Your spine's supposed to be maintained. You're supposed to be getting regular checkups all throughout your lifetime. And I know everybody in here goes for a mammogram, a prostate exam. Why do you do that? Because it's been universally accepted to be preventative. Wrong. It's not preventative. If all those tests do is find disease and early death right before that happens, it doesn't prevent it. It only catches it after it's there. And then you still have to go through those conventional treatments, which wind up killing you and the disease.
Question.
Yeah?
There's a movie out called Concussion.
Concussion.
I went to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Jim McMahon.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these guys have died. Shot.
They killed themselves.
That's right.
They killed themselves.
Isn't
Yeah.
that good?
That's the Atlas subluxation. That Jim McMahon was you can YouTube this. It's on YouTube. They will show you Jim McMahon there. You know he is an NFL player, right? With the man who invented the MRI, who showed what happens when you have an Atlas subluxation like this. Again, you don't feel it. Christopher Reeves died from this. He died because of that little pressure on his brainstem. That's what the Atlas does. And what they showed on the MRI is that it blocks the normal cerebrospinal fluid traveling from the brain to the body back to the brain. And when it gets dammed up here, and all that pressure builds up in your head, that's what you want to do. You want to kill yourself. You start going insane. You become depressed. You go take a handgun and you walk into a school and you start killing people, or you go, blow up people at a Boston Marathon. That's what subluxation does. It destroys the potential for you to be all that God had created you to be. It's an abomination to the expression of being fully human. That's what it is. That's what subluxation does. And then you add medication to that, and you add insult to injury. How many people know about this? Not enough. But the medical doctor who invented the MRI is on that video showing what an Atlas subluxation does. And Jim McMahon described it when he got his first adjustment. He said it was like somebody flushed his skull, like when you flush a toilet bowl. That's exactly physiologically what happens. So that's why people come in here every week, every other week, once a month to make sure, because you can't feel that. And this is really what's going to determine your physiological and your neurological potential long before problems start developing. By the way, guys, this is what controls your immune system. And that's what determines whether or not your body can fight off cancer. Not whether or not you have cancer. Everybody has cancer. whether or not your body's strong enough to fight it off. Long before a mammogram will find it or your doctor tells you you have it. That's the value of making sure that your nerve system is clear. Staying out of doctor's offices, off of medication, out of hospitals. Your blood pressure. I mean, University of Chicago Medical Center did a study. They found the average person's blood pressure dropped by 17 points with one Atlas adjustment. It was the equivalent of a 2-drug combination. That's how powerful the neurology of this is. So why do you get your spine checked? Some people do because they're in pain, they're hurting, they've got numbness, tingling, headaches, this, that, symptoms. Sure, you know, you get checked to see if that's the cause of it. But you know what? Healthcare isn't just treating symptoms. That's not healthcare, that's disease care, that's sickness care. Healthcare is preventing those problems. Do you see the difference, guys? What does our current healthcare system, Obamacare, focus on? Wellness or treating symptoms? There's much more money involved in treating symptoms. What I always talk to everybody here, and why people get under care and stay under care here for life, is because true health care is not about treating sickness and disease, although there's a place for that. That's why you have insurance and medical doctors. You don't ever want to see them if it's possible. You always do things preventative and proactive. You eat good, you exercise, you get your nerve system checked on a regular basis, then you have a proactive plan. But I will tell you this, it doesn't matter how good your diet is and how much you exercise. If you've got an Atlas subluxation, that trumps any normal physiology, your body's ability to balance anything in the body. So what has preeminence, or is of paramount importance, first and foremost, is your neurology. And that's why I make sure that everybody has the opportunity to have their nerve system checked. And so I always make sure of that. So we do thermography, and you roll that up the surface of the spine, and it'll tell us if you've got issues, whether you have pain or not. If that comes up red, deep dark red, what does that mean? There's problems, there's interference. It's a short circuiting. And this is what a normal spine really should like. It should be mostly greens and close to the midline. So if you've got these issues, even if you don't feel pain, you may say, oh, that's not good. Actually, I say it's good. Because if we could find the cause of disease, prostate cancer or breast cancer or anything, long before your medical doctor identifies it, I think you're in much better shape. Wouldn't you agree? So that's the value of this. This is proactive. This is really preventative, showing you what your neurology is doing, and then obviously pointing out, and recommending things that could prevent a lot of those problems. So normally we do this, and it's $150 or something like that for the initial exam. If you make an appointment tonight, if you're not a patient, I know that they can give you a discount on that, a substantial discount. So talk to them up front if you want to make an appointment, if you're not a current patient or you haven't had your nerve system checked, and we'll make sure we do that for you. And that's it. So make sure before you leave you get credit for tonight's workshop. Get on the fat burning supplements. Make sure you don't forget about next month's workshop. And whoever's got questions, please come and see me. The rest of you guys are free to leave. Thank you so much, guys. I love and appreciate you. God bless.